in a library at Yale University, fully digitized, available for anyone to view online, that nobody on Earth can read. Not historians, not linguists, not the world's best cryptographers, not the NSA, and not, as of this year, artificial intelligence trained on millions of historical documents. It's called the Voynich Manuscript, and 600 years after it was written, it remains exactly what it was the day it was rediscovered, completely unread. Here is what we actually know. The manuscript is 240 surviving pages of vellum, covered in flowing, looping script that resembles no known language on Earth. The handwriting is fluent, written quickly, by someone who clearly knew the script well, not someone laboriously copying symbols they didn't understand. The vellum itself has been radiocarbon dated to between 1404 and 1438. That dating is solid. It is one of the only facts about this book that nobody disputes. The pages are organized into sections. An herbal section, filled with detailed botanical illustrations, except the plants don't match any known species, not modern plants, not historical ones. There is an astronomical section, with star charts and diagrams of circular symbols that don't correspond to any known medieval cosmology. A balneological section showing nude women bathing in green liquid connected by tubes and plumbing that resembles nothing else in surviving medieval art. And a pharmaceutical section with jars and recipes written in the same undecipherable script. So here's the first question worth sitting with. Why would someone spend the time and expense to produce 240 pages of fluent, confident writing in a language that doesn't exist? The documented chain of ownership is almost as strange as the text itself. The earliest confirmed owner was a Prague alchemist named George Baresh in the 1630s, who was, by his own letters, just as baffled by it as we are. A 1666 letter, found tucked inside the manuscript, claims it was once purchased by the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II for 600 gold ducats, an enormous sum, equivalent to a small fortune. Rudolph was famous for collecting curiosities, alchemical texts, and anything that seemed touched by the supernatural. The manuscript passed through Jesuit scholars, vanished for over 2 centuries, and resurfaced in 1912, when a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich found it in a Jesuit college in Italy. It has been called the Voynich Manuscript ever since. Now here is where it gets serious. In the 1940s, the United States government took an interest. William Friedman, the cryptographer who broke Japan's purple cipher during World War II, one of the most important code breakers in American history, spent decades of his career, on and off, trying to crack the Voynich script. He failed. The NSA itself has acknowledged working on it. They failed too. Alan Turing reportedly owned a copy. This is not a story about amateur conspiracy theorists chasing a curiosity. This is a story about the most capable code-breaking institutions in the history of the modern world running into a wall they could not get through. That should tell you something about how seriously to take this. For decades, theories multiplied. Some researchers argued it was an elaborate hoax, gibberish designed to look meaningful, sold to a gullible nobleman for profit. In 2004, a researcher named Gordon Rugg demonstrated that a 16th century device called a cardin grill, combined with tables of meaningless syllables, could mechanically generate text with statistical properties similar to the Voynich script. That was a serious blow to the idea that the text had to be a real language. But it didn't end the debate. Produced text that resembled Voynichese statistically. It didn't prove the actual manuscript was made that way. And in late 2025, a different study, published in the peer-reviewed journal Cryptologia, took the opposite approach. called the NABE cipher, a system that converts ordinary Latin or Italian text into glyph sequences using simple substitution tables and elements of chance, using tools that were widely available in the 1400s, like dice and playing cards. The output matched many of the key statistical properties of the real manuscript: symbol frequency, word length, even certain positional patterns that have puzzled linguists for a century. The researchers behind it were careful. They called it a useful benchmark, not a definitive answer. So now there are two studies. One suggests the manuscript could plausibly be meaningless. The other suggests it could plausibly be an encoded version of a real language. Both are statistically convincing. Neither has cracked it. Then there's the minority position, smaller but persistent among certain linguists, that the manuscript records an actual spoken language from 15th century Europe that left no other written trace anywhere in history. In 2025, a separate research team trained a transformer-based AI model on millions of medieval European texts, and then turned it loose on the Voynich script. The model didn't produce coherent sentences, but in certain sections, it found repeated clusters that behaved like vocabulary for plant parts: root, stem, flower, paired with what looked like process verbs: boil, crush, and soak. That's consistent with a botanical document, but it's not proof. But it's not nothing either. You should also know that more sensational claims have circulated this year. Researchers announcing near total decryption with confidence scores like 99.8%, posted to open access preprint servers without formal peer review. Validated those claims, and the broader academic field treats them with significant skepticism. It's worth knowing they exist. It's also worth knowing why serious researchers aren't celebrating yet. Here's the second question worth sitting with. If this is a hoax, it is one of the most labor-intensive and pointless hoaxes ever constructed. 240 pages, fluent handwriting, internally consistent symbol patterns, for an audience that never existed, sold to a buyer who never figured it out, in a century when vellum and ink were not cheap. And if it isn't a hoax, if there's an actual message inside those pages, then somewhere in that script is real information, written by a real person, about real plants, real medicine, real astronomy, or something else entirely, that has now successfully resisted every attempt at translation for 600 years, through the Renaissance, through the rise of modern cryptography, through 2 world wars, through an entire era of computing, and now through the first wave of large language models specifically built to find patterns humans can't see. Every other historical cipher humans have created has eventually been broken. Linear B, Egyptian hieroglyphics. The Rosetta Stone unlocked an entire civilization's writing system in a matter of years once the right comparison text was found. The Voynich Manuscript has had 600 years, and it has given up nothing. Maybe it's an elaborate joke that worked too well. Maybe it's a lost language with no surviving relatives. Maybe it's something we don't have a category for yet. It's sitting in a library right now, fully scanned, fully available, completely unread. What is it actually trying to say?